Virgo, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? What is good with you? It's time for your weekly check-in. We're going to see what's going on with you guys in the 4th week of October. Now, I do have an important announcement to make, and I'll make it as quick as possible. But first, if you need a personal reading, you can go straight to my website, tarotwithrich.com. I have a link for that right down here in the description of this video. But the important announcement is, if you're catching this on time, tomorrow, Saturday, October 18th, is going to be our last round of weekly live readings. Okay, we're stepping back and taking a big old break after tomorrow. If you're new here, it's not going bye-bye forever. It's going back to the way it was for the last 5 years. We've been going consistent every weekend since February. We haven't done that since 2020, dude. So we're going back to the way it used to be, where we just break it out a couple of times a year, maybe for a holiday or a special occasion or something like that. So yeah, if you want to jump on that list, I'd be thinking about that, because after tomorrow, it's probably going to be a good old long time before we do it again. I mean, I guess there's a chance we could maybe do it again this year, but I doubt it. Don't hold me to it. I highly doubt it, honestly. Anyway, though, yeah, link is in the description for everything that I have to offer. So, all right, let's jump into this. Let's see how your situation's looking. How's the energy looking between Virgo and the person they're dealing with in the 4th week of October, 2025? Ooh, 2 of Swords reversed. A final decision is being made. I'm thinking, ooh, Knight of Wands, yup. Ooh, check this out. I'm thinking that there's going to be a very brief reconnection. Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups. And, well, I mean, the Knights, that's like very inconsistent energy anyway, especially the Knight of Wands. But I don't know what it is about this that is, it's almost like it's giving you closure that you didn't even think you would ask for. Did this same message already come out for you guys? Because I know this message came out several times over the past couple of weeks. I just don't remember what sign it was for. But yeah, it may be unexpected closure with the Karmic Wheel and the Tower card, both in the upright. Maybe you're finding out about a third party in the mix, or maybe there is a third party, I don't know. Or maybe you've just had the time to collect yourself, get your thoughts together, you know. The dust has settled, you know, your emotions have settled, and you're seeing clearly, you're thinking clearly. And my favorite analogy to use is, it's like when you watch a movie for the first time since you were a little kid, you know that feeling? If you had a favorite movie when you were like 10 years old and you just never watched it again for like 20 fucking years, and then you look it up for the first time in your 30s and you see it from a totally different perspective now that you've grown and evolved. Similarly, that can happen when you revisit a past person or a past situation. And that does happen quite frequently, and that may be what's going on here. It very well may be. All right. Well, let's see this person's feelings, energies, and intentions. The person Virgo is dealing with, how do they feel about you? What are their energies and intentions towards you? Queen of Swords. I mean, I think this person would be down to reconcile, but they got Knight of Wands energy again. So this always gets so hard to describe. Where in their mind, they think they have the best of intentions. And I mean, when it all comes down to it, you can't really judge somebody's intentions. Maybe they do have their version of good intentions, but I just think this person is entirely too immature to really understand how to carry out those intentions. Does that make sense? See what I'm saying? Just because you have good intentions doesn't mean that you're doing good things. And just because you have bad intentions, that doesn't intrinsically mean that you're doing bad things. So I think they want to see if reconciliation is on the table. And I think maybe you're just seeing this person for the immature individual that they are. You know? That's one thing that's a very dangerous mix when you know somebody has good intentions, but then you also know that they're not mature enough to properly carry out those intentions. So you want to give them a chance because you know what their intentions are, but if they're not mature enough to carry it out, then there really is no potential there, no matter what their intentions are. And maybe you're just finally seeing that. It's like asking this person to commit is like asking a kindergartner to learn calculus, you know? Commitment is something that is so hard to find nowadays. It's hard to find. And it has a lot to do with the way the system has, over the past 2 or 3 decades, really been incentivizing broken homes, you know? And a lot of people are growing up without even witnessing what true commitment really looks like, you know? Not that that's an excuse. I mean, you have to be emotionally intelligent and dedicated to commit anyways, but that definitely puts a damper on a person's ability to commit when they've never even seen what commitment looks like. If you weren't raised in a household where there was true commitment between them, you know, 2 parent figures. Like I was raised by my grandparents. They got together when they were 14 years old and stayed together until death did them part. I grew up seeing what commitment actually looks like. A lot of people don't get to see that, you know? So, yeah. I don't know if I would go as far as to say they have bad intentions. I just don't think that this person's mature enough. I don't think there's potential. All right, well, let's get the advice. Advice, advice, what is the best advice? What is the best advice? Oh, 2 of Wands. I hate it when that comes out as advice. And the 2 of Swords. Okay, so just make sure that you, and I don't even know why this is coming through because I already know you're going to do this anyways, but make sure that you are very meticulously deliberating the decision that you're going to make. Now, I don't know, it's so weird. I've been wondering this. I've been a career tarot reader here on YouTube for 7 years now. And it seems like so frequently advice comes out for the sign that doesn't need that advice. You don't need to tell a Virgo to be analytical and critical about a decision. You don't, Virgo fucking invented that, right? I don't know why it's telling me to tell you that, but you know, don't just make any random willy-nilly decisions. Because it is saying a decision's being made anyways. Just make sure that you're really, really deliberating your decision before you make it. Now, when you have the Two of Wands up here, that means that you're at a crossroads, and it doesn't really matter which path you take. You can take path A or you can take path B. If you attempt reconciliation, there's about a 98% chance of a repeat cycle. So I don't have the authority to tell you to or not to do that. You know me. If you haven't learned the lesson that needed to be learned here, just blindly taking my advice isn't going to help you. Because you're going to learn that lesson at some point. At some point, with some person, at some stage in your life, you're going to learn that lesson. So, all right. Take that and do with it what you will. I already know what most of you are going to do. I already know, yo. All right. Let's see what's going on with the singles and your love interest. Single Virgos and the specific individual that you have your eye on. What's happening in the 4th week of October 2025? Anything good happening? Anything bad happening? Anything happening at all? Oh shit! It's been coming out for several signs here over the past couple of weeks. Drama popping off. Woo, yeah. Drama popping the fuck off. Because this connection is getting so intense, and I think the person you're dealing with is just hanging around with their thumb shoved up their ass, not making a decision, stringing you along, and you're becoming increasingly more frustrated, irritated, pissed off. And then finally, that energy is going to blow. And this says you're walking away from this. So, okay. Well, that's about all. Some of y'all dealing with a Gemini. I also have Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Leo. Could be anybody. Those are just energies. Let's see how they feel about you. What are their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions? Six of Wands reversed, see? Yeah, most of the time, it's always the same thing. When I do the singles and your love interest, 9 times out of 10, it's always the same thing. They're stringing you along because they don't really want to settle down. If they wanted to settle down with you, they would. It's always the same thing. And from doing personal readings, a huge majority of the time, people are dealing with a love interest for an ungodly long period of time. I mean, honestly, ever since I started doing these general readings, that's a whole new eye-opener for me. Before, 3 or 4 months ago, I never even thought that anyone could be dealing with the same love interest for 6 months, 9 months, a year, while that person knows that you're interested in them. That's incomprehensible to me. I know what it's like to deal with a love interest for 2 months. And after a certain point, I was always like, God damn it. All right, well, fine, fuck you then. If you wanted to be with me, you would have been with me by now. So fuck you. Deuces. But there's this new trend that I'm seeing that people are dealing with a love interest being strung along for 6 months, 9 months, a year. One time, about a week ago, somebody had been dealing with a love interest for 2 years. 2 years. I'm like, what the fuck is the holdup? What's the holdup, dude? If I know that you're interested in me and I want to be with you, I'm not going to make you wait 2 fucking days. 2 years? It's always the same thing. They don't want to settle down. All they want is whatever they're getting out of this situation. Whether it's sex or money or whatever. Usually it's something involving sex or money. But whatever they're getting out of this, 10 of Pentacles, maybe some of y'all, this person's getting a little financial benefit from stringing you along somehow. I don't know, but yeah, they ain't trying to settle down. They're not. I guess let's get some advice. Boop boopy doo. Well, honestly, it shouldn't even get to the point where the frustration is building to the point where it's about to blow. It shouldn't even get to that point. I would recommend that before it even gets to that point, we need to have the fucking what are we conversation. Or just back away from it. One of the two. Because I'm going to tell you what, when the frustration gets to the point where it's going to cause some sort of ugly falling out between the two of you, that's going to create a karmic tie. And it's going to weigh you down vibrationally. And it's going to screw up your entire energetic pathway moving forward. That's what that's going to do. So, I would recommend that before it even gets to that point, we got to sit down and have the what are we fucking conversation. Or, I would just back away from this silently. It's what I always did, honestly. And this was before I knew jack shit about energy. I mean, just common sense always told me that I shouldn't have to argue with you to get you to be with me. If you don't want to be with me, then fuck off. You know, that's just always been my attitude towards it. So, yeah, careful with it. Because if it explodes like that, then the chances of you finding someone better are going to be slim until you release that energy. And that we shouldn't be creating that energy to begin with, okay? All right, I feel like those were the messages that my Virgo family needed to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, y'all, tomorrow, October 18th, Saturday, is going to be our last round of weekly live readings. We're stepping back and taking a big fucking break. We're going back to the way we used to do it for the last 5 years. And it's not going to be a consistent weekly thing anymore after this. We'll be breaking it out maybe twice a year, 3 times a year on a good year. So if you want to hop on that list, you can pre-order anytime. They're read in the order of which they come in. And you can read up more about that on my website along with everything else that I have to offer, okay? The link is in the description. All right, I'm out of here now, y'all. I will see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity. Stay blessed.